The Oscar for the most overused way to introduce a segment about the Oscar goes to BK Live. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank our entire crew, especially my co-host here, Brian Vines. And thank you to all the people upstairs who said I'd never amount to anything. Look where we are now. Oscar time. Let's do it.
Yes, the Oscars are pure foolishness, which is why we love them. And predicting the Oscars is truly a fool's errand. But at least we've got one of our very favorite fools with us today, and a highly educated one at that. Our friend and the film critic for Newsday, Rafer Guzman. Welcome back to BK Live, sir.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
Hi, Rafer. Thank you very much for being here.
I'm your man. I'm your foolish man today.
Let's start with, some of your opinions on what were some of your favorites or your favorite movies of 2016.
I mean, I know I'm not alone on this. My favorite movie of the year was Moonlight. I thought Moonlight was an amazing film. Barry Jenkins does this great job of putting you right in the shoes of this African-American gay kid growing up in Miami. And it's an extraordinary film. I don't think it's going to get Best Picture, but I do think it'll get nominated.
So the Globes does have that split where they do the comedy musical, which for the first time there's been a musical in the TV thing.
That's right.
And then we have Moonlight that we're watching a clip of right now. So they both got their due. So was that the prize? That was the time for Barry Jenkins to get it all out because Hollywood's going Hollywood?
I mean, it's funny because usually, one thing about the Golden Globes is we look to the Golden Globes as the predictor for the Oscars, right? And whenever they do this, comedy or musical, those are for kind of the fluffy, trivial films.
Right.
No one ever thinks of that as an Oscar predictor, right? It's always the best drama at the Globes that wins, and then we all think, that's going to be the one to win Best Picture. But in this case, it was the opposite. La La Land won for Best Comedy or Musical, and I got to tell you, that's going to win Best Picture.
You have it here. That's a scalding hot take on BK Live. Thank you, Rafer.
Not an original
I haven't seen La La Land. You know what? I don't like musicals.
I'm with you. But I think we saw Moonlight and it gave me the feels. Like I had feelings, and I haven't seen La La Land yet, so I can't speak to that. But is it gonna give me the feels?
This movie has been like a runaway hit with critics. I mean, like just a complete smash. Nobody can say a bad word about it. Except for me. I thought it was kind of okay. I didn't think it quite delivered on the promise of a musical. I didn't think it quite gave me. The music didn't really stick with me. Visually, it looks great. Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling are fantastic. They're so charismatic. I just didn't really think it added up to anything that powerful. I like the film, but I still think it's going to win. I think it'll win Best Picture. I think it'll win Best Score, obviously. Could win Best Song. Might win Best Screenplay, which it won at the Globes. It set a record at the Globes, 7 wins. I mean, that's a historic record. And it could, whether it'll win Best Actress, Best Actor, I'm not so sure, but I think it's going to make a very strong showing. And I think you'll see it when the nominations are announced on Tuesday.
And as a basic question, for those who don't know, the people that vote on the Globes is the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Who's voting on the Academy Awards, and why are they so in love with La La Land?
It's going to be other filmmakers, directors, cinematographers, actors. It runs the whole gamut, from all the different guilds that they're in, and these are all the Oscar voters. I do think that's going to win. The one kind of interesting thing is, you remember the Oscars So White controversy from last year.
Cheryl Boone Isaacs, the
that's right.
black head of the Academy, said we're going to get the ranks more like America.
Exactly, and she wanted to make some initiatives to bring more diversity in, and I think also to kind of weed some of the older guard out.
Gotcha.
They tweaked the rules a little bit. Whether that will be enough to really flip, Moonlight ahead of La La Land, I don't think so. But I still think La La Land's going to take it.
And we're going to talk about other movies, but briefly, Barry Jenkins, you said, for Moonlight. This is only his second film. Where does that put him in terms of probability of being nominated for Best Director?
It's only the third for La La Land's director.
That's right. That's correct.
Do these younger directors have more of a chance of getting nominated because they're kind of on the beginning end of their career? Or does that play against them? Curious.
I would say that that's usually not the case. I would say it's usually sort of mid to later career directors. I mean, certainly not always, but I don't think youth really plays into it that much. But I mean, again, if Damien Chazelle wins, he's going to be
he's like 19, right?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be one of, if not the youngest, I think, to win the award, to win the directing award, which I think he will also win. But I'm not so sure youth plays into it necessarily.
Okay, let's talk about some of the other movies.
Beautiful People. movies or people?
Oh, people, whatever.
No, I'm saying we've got
It's
other
up to
things.
you.
So Hidden Figures, this was one that I've seen. So can we get into that? Because there's some beautiful people in it, and it was a great story. I thought it was going to be a Lifetime movie, but I actually enjoyed it.
I thought Hidden Figures was fantastic. That was also one of my favorite films of the year. And I mean, here's a good example of why I think that the Oscars will not suffer from that, all-white, and certainly not in the acting categories. I mean, this movie alone, you've got 3 fantastic lead actresses.
I think we have a clip we're going to take full sound that features some of those lovely ladies who were math geniuses and computational whizzes. Let's take a look at
Let's see it.
Y'all gonna end up unemployed riding around in this pile of junk.
You're welcome to walk the 16 miles or sit in the back of the bus.
You have identification number?
NASA, sir.
NASA. I had no idea they hired.
There are quite a few women working in the space program.
Least I can do is give y'all an escort.
3 Negro women are chasing a white police officer down the highway in 1961. That is a God-ordained miracle.
Is that Janelle Monáe? She's awesome, huh? She's in Moonlight,
a performance you loved.
I would totally pick her for Best Supporting Actress. I don't think she'll get the nomination.
Yeah.
She was not nominated at the Globes, but I mean, this movie would not be nearly as much fun
Yeah, she
without her,
brought that.
right? God, she's just great
But
in it.
you go Octavia Spencer. You invite her to the party, but
I think she will
should
get.
win, could get nominated.
That's right. I think Octavia Spencer will get a nod for sure.
Yeah.
I think also, speaking of great black actresses, I think that Viola Davis will probably get a nod for leading actress. She could, in Fences, thank you. She could get that. Could go to Natalie Portman for Jackie, whom everyone loves in Jackie.
Is that the supporting thing?
No. That's I would say best. I would say best actress.
Oh, you would put Octavia Spencer in Best Actress category?
No, I'm
Okay,
sorry. I'm
we're
confused.
mixing
I'm
the
confused. I'm
category.
confusing you. I'm
Jackie
confusing you.
O, Natalie Portman.
I
All
think
right,
she could get that.
let's take a look at another one of the contenders for acting and Best Picture. It's Fences. I feel like we're at the thing. Let's look at Fences.
I'm not talking about no baseball. You're not listening to me. I'm trying to explain it to you the best way I know how. It's not easy for me to admit that I've been standing in the same place for 18 years.
Well, I've been standing with you. I've been right here with you, Troy. I got a life, too. I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot as you. Don't you think I ever wanted other things? Don't you think I had dreams and hopes? What about my life? What about me?
Listen.
Fences. Have you seen that?
How could you not? She went full on ugly cry. I
Right.
haven't seen it yet, but she
Viola
like,
Davis does that. That's her. That's
she
her
goes
thing.
for it.
Yeah, she
I do
totally
that,
does.
but I'm alone when I do it.
I'm glad to hear
What
that.
about Denzel in terms of nominations and Fences in general? Will that get a nomination for Best Picture?
his
I think it definitely will. I think he could also get a nomination for Best Director.
Right.
I think I said before Viola Davis for Best Actress, but I'm sorry, I misspoke. I think she'll probably be in the Supporting Actress category there. But
she
Denzel,
won the Globe
I think.
for it, yes.
Yeah, and she won the Globe.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. But I think Denzel could definitely get a nomination for both those things, for Best Picture, Best Director. Again, I don't think he'll win, but I think he'll get the nod.
I want to know, they nominate 10 movies now for Best Picture. It used to be something like 5. Do you think there's any movies that slip in there that you didn't actually like? I mean, some of these movies that get nominated, some of the critics don't actually like, and you're the #1 critic.
Sure.
What do you think?
Thank you so much for saying that.
I mean, it's my pleasure, Ray.
I would say of the movies that I'm predicting to wind up in the nomination on that short list. I don't think there's any movie in there that I think doesn't deserve to be in there. And one of the great things, I guess, about this sort of expanded 10-film list is that it does give a chance for some of the littler movies to sneak in there. And one great example that I think is going to be in there is Hell or High Water, which is this great crime drama, kind of noirish crime drama. Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges, Ben Foster, Chris Pine, great cast, great screenplay. That film barely got a theatrical release, but it got this really strong word of mouth from critics, great word of mouth just among people who saw it on video on demand. It shows up at the Globes, and I think it'll show up at the Oscars as well.
Let's rack it, Doctor. We got Hell or High Water.
Onward.
It's too big. That's what she said.
It's no good.
This ain't your first rodeo. With your bank. More money.
Skip Deadpool? Whatever. You go,
Ooh.
Whoa!
That's like pivotal. What's next? Oh, Greg and I are in.
You guys are riveted already.
So we missed it the first time out, but something like an Academy
That's not a musical,
Award,
is it? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Not a
Go
They
ahead.
break into song with something like a nomination can revive your movie and get it a theatrical re-release again.
Sure, yeah. I mean, a nomination, let alone an award. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's a great excuse to put it back in the theaters. You can see that happen with any number of these. La La Land is still kind of going out wide and still kind of gaining its momentum. I think probably at this point in time, despite all the buzz about it, I'm not sure if there are that many people that have seen
The saturation point.
Yeah, not quite yet, I would say. But yeah, I mean, that's what the Oscars are there
it's
for. Throw some business to these movies.
Exactly. You have the summer movies. Yeah, Barry Jenkins. But you have the summer movies that make a lot with the comic books, and then you have award season. That seems to be where Hollywood generates most of its money nowadays. Let's talk about your predictions for all the major categories, if we could.
Yeah, sure. Where do you want to start? I said Best Picture. I think it's going to be La La Land. Best Actor, I think it's going to go to Casey Affleck from Manchester by the Sea.
Casey Affleck.
What did you think about that movie?
I really loved that movie. I thought it was a great character study with just like a wrenching ending that I kind of didn't see coming, but sort of did see coming, and when it arrived, it just really grabbed me.
It's really, I saw that. It's very grim, kid, and it also features the Boston accent, which
Yes, it does.
at least 2 or 3 movies have to feature nowadays.
That's right. And
My
real-
hat
real
is
Boston
broken.
accents.
I can't be his Gadian. That's what that movie is. I don't know how you separate the art from the artist in terms of some scandal that he has going on.
Well,
Maybe that's a discussion for a different time.
That very well could be. The Casey Affleck, Nate Parker sort of double standard has definitely been a talker.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to harm him. He won the Globe. I think he's going to get the pick for Best Actor. Best Actress, I think.
Broken, kid. Sorry, go ahead. I love those Boston movies. I can't be his Gadian.
You belong in pictures, Greg.
Thank you, Rafer.
Sure,
You're
you're
waiting
welcome.
for someone to say that. Adult Beginners. I was in that movie. Go ahead, Rafer.
All right, who else? Best Actress. I still think that could go to Natalie Portman for
Really?
Jackie.
For the Jackie?
I do.
She
I think
has one. And no one likes her movie. No one likes the movie, and she has an
I think
Oscar. Let's
people-
give her an award.
I think people like Natalie Portman. I think people have a good feeling for Natalie Portman, and I think this was this major role. And even though I was not that crazy about the film, it did have a lot of critical love, and she was.
Amy Adams was so good in that.
In
People like
Arrival,
her
you liked
too.
her in Arrival?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't,
liked her.
And here's the thing: you have to remember who's voting. These 4,000 people, some of them want to kiss up to a Natalie Portman, right? I saw that Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, they're all kind of campaigning for. All right, we have only a few seconds.
They've expanded the pictures. Do you think we'll ever see acting where they give as many acting nominations as the Best Picture to expand it, or they keep that tight?
I kind of doubt that. I haven't heard any buzz about that. No, I never heard anyone float that idea. It seems really unlikely, and it also seems very unwieldy to me. No offense to your idea.
Well, the theater's only so big.
I mean, it really is only so. I mean, imagine if you had, twice the amount of people there. I'm not, and imagine how long the award show would have to go. It's long enough, don't you think?
It's true.
So, yeah, I'm not sure they're going to do that necessarily.
And final predictions for the night, the last few categories. Supporting actor?
Supporting actor, if it were me, I would give it to Hugh Grant in Florence Foster Jenkins, but I think it's going to go to Mahershala Ali for Moonlight. He was in Hidden Figures as well.
So was Janelle Monáe. They were a couple, and then
That's
the connection.
That's right.
No spoilers.
6 degrees of
no.
Janelle Monáe.
And but I do think that Viola Davis will get it for Best Supporting
Okay,
Actress.
before we get out of here, the upset of the night that you can see coming, that everyone's going to be talking about come Monday morning on Oscar night.
The upset of the night, I mean, how long has it been since there's been an Oscar upset? It doesn't really happen. I mean, you could.
Marissa Tomei. Go on.
That's a good one.
He read the wrong name. Whatever. There's a conspiracy involved in that. But go on. I'm dating myself. Go ahead, Rafer.
Yeah, major upset. I don't know. It would be stunning if Moonlight actually did pull an upset and win over La La Land. I just don't see that happening. It would be amazing if I mean, I suppose Isabelle Huppert could win for Elle. It's a little unlikely, I think, at the Oscars that a foreign actress wins. I mean, I think that explains why she won at the Globes, Hollywood Foreign Press Association. More likely to vote for those kind of people. I don't really see that happening at the Oscars. I could be wrong. The nominations aren't even out, so you know, this is all a little bit pie in the sky.
We'll have to have you back to talk about it.
Meryl Streep will win again. They just want to give her another platform
That
so
could
she
happen
can
too.
pop off about Donald Trump.
Which a lot of people may be doing that night. Well, thank you very much. I thought Spotlight was kind of an upset last year, right? Or was Shakespeare in Love? Well, that was an upset. Remember that back in the day?
That was a little bit of
That
an
beat
upset as
Saving
well.
Private Ryan. We'll talk.
Him all charged
talk,
up on
Greg.
the upsets.
We're
now.
neighbors, as it turns out. Full disclosure, we live in the same neighborhood, so I'll
That's
see you,
right.
Rafer, around, and we'll talk more.
All
Rafer
right.
Guzman, everybody. Thank you very much for taking time to be here.
Thanks, guys.